Are you struggling to track your target or control your recoil or to be accurate from a far distance? Then I'm going to show you exactly what you got to do to have this type of aim. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is go over the gameplay, interact prompt style. This will display more or less information about weapons, items on the ground. I'd like to have it on default, but you can have it on compact. What this does is, you see these items here, right? You see this big box that says sniper stock. Go over the settings and put it in compact. This shows it exactly like this. That is your own personal preference. Button hints off, cross the damage feedback X. You can put this on off or which shoot icon. I'd like to have it on X. Damage number stacking, keep it on stacking because if you have it on floating or both, it's gonna mess up your aim because there's a lot of things happening when you damage an enemy. When you have it on floating or both. Ping opacity, default, your own preference. Obituaries, own preference. Mean reputation, own preference. Weapon cycle on empty. I'd like to have it on because if you're gonna fight somebody and you're out of ammo, it switches your weapon immediately to your secondary. It's a life or death situation in some cases, so I'd like to have it on. Auto sprint, own preference. Double tap sprint, own preference. Jetpack control on hold because if you're gonna be Valk, you want to hold while you're flying. If you toggle, it's just not right. You know what I mean? Incoming damage feedback 3D. Taking damage closes the death box menu. Turn this off immediately. If you have this on, you're in the heat of a battle, and you're trying to armor swap. This does is if you press the box, you're trying to armor swap and you get damaged. If it's on, it's gonna close the box automatically. That's why I have it on off. It's also a life or death situation. Hop up, pop up, off, on or off. Your own personal preference. Streamer mode, own personal preference. I have it off. Anonymous mode disabled. User sharing enabled. Cross-platform play, always have it enabled. Otherwise you won't find any games. Performance display, own personal preference. I'd like to have it on to see if I'm lagging or how high my ping is, so I can blame it on ping if I die. Club invites, own personal preference. Communication filter, own preference. You can have it on nobody if people annoy you, but I'd like to have it on everybody because I like to communicate. Reticle default, you can customize it. I have it on all the way red. This way I can see enemies more better, clearly. If you have it on a bright color, you will not see enemies or you can have difficulties tracking them. That's why I have it on dark red, it's more transparent that way. Laser sight, not relevant. Colorblind mode, own personal preference, I have it off. Subtitles on. Enable extessy chat features, disable voice chat off. Your own personal preference, people annoy you, put it off. That's why I have it off. Converting voice chat to text off. Incoming text chat to speech off. Let's go over the controller. Let's go over the thing you guys are waiting for. But before we do that, this one is important for your armor swaps or looting. You need to have this at a good pace that you can get into the death box and quickly armor swap as fast as you can, because if you're gonna armor swap, it's needed to have this setting as fast as possible because it's a life or death situation again. It's really important. Let's go to button layout. Button layout. Yeah, button layout. So I have this crouch button on the R3 stick, the R stick, whatever it's called. It's better for me because I'm holding my thumb to look around anyway, and if I slide, it's easier to press it in than pressing the B button to slide, if that makes sense. So I'd like to have this on the R's button and the melee on B, but it's your own personal preference, but this is my preference. Stick layout, default, own personal preference. If you're lefties, soft paw. If you're not, default. Interact reload button, tap to use reload. It's faster for me this way than holding. Crouch button, toggle. Own personal preference, A button, hold. Always have it on hold. I don't know why you would have it on toggle. It's not. It's just weird. Survivor slot button off. You can have this on, but if you have an heirloom, I'd like to have it off because I'd like to spam the heirloom. Trigger dead zones, none, but it's your own personal preference. If you have stick drift, for the moderate or default, I have it on none. Menu cursor speed, I just went over this. Look sensitivity, high for default, 3 or 4, it's the best in my opinion. Per optic, not relevant. Response curve, classic or normal or linear does the trick, depending on how much of a stick drift you have and how good you can control the recoil. Look dead zone small, own personal preference. Movement dead zone small, inverted look off, obviously. Vibration on, this way it feels more natural when you're shooting a gun. It feels right, it feels good because of the vibration. Advanced look controls. Now this is the most important part of the video, guys. I know you all clicked this video for this part, most of you did. Dead zone, this one is tricky. The higher the dead zone, the better you can control recoil from a far distance, because it triggers more less input if you have it the higher you have it. So this way you can control recoil from a far distance and you can laser beam more people. But if you have stick drift, you can't put it on 10% for instance, because if you do that, let's do that. Let's use 13. Look what happens. Oh, hold on. That's weird. Normally it's not stick drift for some reason. Yeah, as you can see, I'm having a lot of stick drift, so that's why I have it on 7%. But see, that's why I don't have it that high, because I have stick drift. Like I'm missing everything. But if I put it on, let's just say 7%, it's a lot better, isn't it? Normally I laser beam it from 1 foot, but the recoil is very weird on this fucking R3. Okay, let's move on. Auto threshold 3%. This way, the auto threshold, what it does, it determines how fast the input is on your stick. So the lower it is, the more twitchy it is. The higher it is, the more input you have to do. So I'd like to have them 3%. Most people have it on 2 or to 5%. A response curve, this will affect how sensitive the stick is across the range of input. Lower values of the response curve can feel too twitchy again. High values can feel too dull. What this means is, if the lower your response curve is, the faster the input is, the faster, like if you turn left with your aim, the faster it goes left or right. If it's too high, it has a latency maybe of 0.2 to 3 seconds of how much input you put in the stick. For optic settings, you can copy this over, but it's your own personal preference. You can test this around the firing range. Yaw speed, this will determine how quickly you turn left or right with your view. Own personal preference, you gotta test this out in the firing range. Pitch speed 170, it's the same, but vertically. Vertically. Turning X or yaw, this is important. This will determine how much of an aim assist you have without aiming and hip firing a target. So let's just show you exactly what it is. So as you can see, I'm turning, but if a target is close by, it slows down like this. If I do it slowly, as you can see, it's slowing down. So see what I mean? If I do this, it has a lot of aim assist, but if I do this, also has aim assist. If I do this, let's try a different distance. There you go. That's why I have this setting. Turning extra yaw on 200 and pitching 160. This will help you be a lot more accurate from up close and in the medium ranges. Don't touch this. This is not relevant. ADS yaw speed is your own personal preference again. I have it on 140 and 90 because I'd like to track people from a distance. It might be slow for most people, but it's nice for me. I can show you exactly how. This is my speed at max, but as you can see, it's slowing down on the target again. This is why I'd like to have it on these settings, this speed, because I'd like to track targets. It's easier for me that way, and I can laser beam more. ADS turning extra yaw is the same as turning extra yaw on the other one, but the difference is in this one, it's aiming turning extra jaw. It's the same as this. It slows down on the target. It's a lot of aim assist for a target, so you will be more accurate from distances and short distances. You can kill people more easily and faster. Okay, moving on. Don't touch this. Target compensation on, obviously. Melee target compensation on. Target compensation down default. Video view 110, obviously. The higher it is, the more you see. Ability scaling enabled. Percent view shake. Own personal preference. You can have it a minimal, normal. I'd like to have it a normal, so more realistic. Master volume 90. This is also your own personal preference. You can copy this over, but it's your own preference. Yeah, that's about it. If this has helped you in any way or improved your aim and your skill in this game, make sure to like and sub. Thanks and peace out, boys. Thank you for watching.